In between 1704 and 1717, Antoine Galland published his 12-volume French translation of The 1001 Nights, titled Les Mille et une Nuits. His work was a sensational success, introducing European readers to the exotic and fantastical world of the Middle East, and captivating the imaginations of high society. However, as Galland was nearing the end of his translation of the known Arabic manuscripts, he found himself in a predicament. His publisher and the public were clamoring for more stories, but he had exhausted his source material. Destiny intervened in 1709. During his time in Paris, Galland was introduced to a Syrian man named Hanna Diyab. Diyab was a Maronite Christian from Aleppo, a seasoned traveler and a gifted storyteller French capital, who had journeyed from his homeland through the Mediterranean and eventually to the vibrant French capital. In his diaries, Galland meticulously documented his meetings with Diyab, noting that the Syrian recounted several fascinating tales to him. Among these was the story of a poor young boy, a manipulative sorcerer, a hidden cave filled with treasure, a magical lamp containing a powerful jinn, and a princess. This was the foundational narrative of Aladdin and the Magic Lamp. Galland recognized the story's immense potential and, realizing it was exactly the kind of exotic adventure his audience craved, decided to include it in his collection. He transcribed and likely embellished Diyab's oral account, adding his own literary flair to fit the tastes of his French readership. Consequently, Aladdin made its debut in volumes 9 and 10 of Galland's Les Mille et une Nuits, presented to the world not as a Syrian folk tale, but as an authentic part of the ancient Arabian Nights collection. However, many historians have argued that Hanna Diyab should be understood as the original author of some of the stories Galland supplied, and even that several of Diyab's stories, including Aladdin, were partly inspired by Diyab's own life. As there are parallels with his autobiography, the original story begins not in the fictional city of Agrabah, but in one of the cities of China. This geographical setting might seem strange to modern audiences accustomed to the Middle Eastern aesthetic of later adaptations. But in the context of early Arab storytelling, China was often used as a shorthand for a distant, exotic, and almost mythical land at the farthest edge of the known world. It was a place of immense wealth and mystery, the perfect backdrop for a tale of magic and wonder. Here, we meet Aladdin, not as a charming street rat, but as a lazy and disobedient boy. Following the death of his father, a humble tailor, Aladdin refuses to learn a trade and spends his days playing in the streets, much to the despair of his widowed mother. He is described as idle and prone to mischief, a far cry from the noble-hearted hero of modern interpretations. This portrayal of a flawed, unambitious youth makes his subsequent transformation all the more dramatic. Aladdin's life takes a dramatic turn with the arrival of a stranger, a powerful and malevolent sorcerer from the Maghreb, a region in northwest Africa. This magician, who is the story's primary antagonist, presents himself as Aladdin's long-lost uncle, the brother of his deceased father. He showers Aladdin and his mother with gifts and false kindness, quickly winning their trust. The sorcerer's true motive, however, is sinister. He has traveled all the way from Africa in search of a specific individual, a boy of a particular destiny who is the only person capable of retrieving a legendary magic lamp from an enchanted, trap-laden cave. Through his dark arts, he has identified Aladdin as this chosen one. The sorcerer's deception is a masterclass in manipulation. He preys on the family's poverty and their desire for a paternal figure, luring Aladdin into his service with promises of wealth and a bright future as a merchant. Under the guise of showing Aladdin the world and teaching him a trade. The sorcerer leads the boy far outside the city walls to a desolate, remote location. There, he performs a powerful ritual, chanting incantations and throwing magical powders onto a fire, which causes the earth to tremble and part, revealing a stone slab with a brass ring. The sorcerer instructs Aladdin to lift the slab and descend into the cavern below, which he calls a magic garden. He warns the boy not to touch anything on his way down, save for an old, seemingly worthless oil lamp that he is to bring back, to protect him from the cave's potent magic. The sorcerer gives Aladdin a magic ring, a crucial detail that will later become his salvation. Trusting his supposed uncle, Aladdin descends into the darkness. He passes through a garden of wondrous trees bearing fruits made of glittering jewels, rubies, diamonds, and emeralds, but heeds the warning, filling his pockets only after securing the lamp. However, as he tries to climb out, the sorcerer demands the lamp before he will help him. Wary of the magician's intentions and unable to hand it over from his position, Aladdin refuses. In a fit of rage, the sorcerer seals the cave, trapping Aladdin inside to die, believing his quest has failed. Trapped in the suffocating darkness of the cave, Aladdin is overcome with despair. For 2 days, he languishes, believing his end is near. In a moment of hopeless prayer, he clasps his hands together, inadvertently rubbing the magic ring the sorcerer had given him for protection. Instantly, a monstrous and powerful jinn, a genie of the ring, materializes before him. This genie is bound to serve the wearer of the ring and, upon Aladdin's command, instantly transports him back to the surface and to his mother's home. Once home, hungry and shaken, Aladdin decides to sell the old lamp he still carries to buy food. As his mother begins to clean it to fetch a better price, she rubs its surface and a second, even more powerful and awe-inspiring jinn appears, the genie of the lamp. This genie declares himself the slave of whoever holds the lamp and is capable of granting seemingly limitless wishes. Overwhelmed but realizing their good fortune, Aladdin and his mother use the genie's power cautiously at first, wishing only for food and basic necessities. With the help of the genie and the wealth from the jeweled fruits he collected in the cave, Aladdin transforms himself from a lazy boy into a wealthy and respected young man. His newfound status emboldens him, and one day he catches a glimpse of the Sultan's daughter, Princess Budrobudur, whose name means full moon of full moons in Arabic. He is instantly smitten by her unparalleled beauty and becomes determined to marry her. He sends his mother to the Sultan's court with an offering of the magnificent jewels from the magic garden as a bride price. The Sultan is astounded by the sheer value and brilliance of the jewels, which far exceed anything in his own treasury. Though impressed, he has already promised the princess to the son of his vizier, his chief advisor. Unwilling to immediately refuse such a wealthy suitor, the Sultan sets an impossible condition. He tells Aladdin's mother that he will consider the proposal if Aladdin can provide 40 golden basins, carried by 40 slaves filled to the brim with more of the same jewels. Using the power of the genie of the lamp, Aladdin effortlessly fulfills this demand, and the Sultan, left with no choice, agrees to the marriage. Aladdin, with the genie's help, then conjures a magnificent palace for himself and his new bride, a testament to his seemingly infinite wealth and power. However, Aladdin's happiness is short-lived. The evil sorcerer from the Maghreb, far from forgetting about the lamp, uses his scrying powers to discover that Aladdin not only escaped the cave, but now possesses the lamp and has married the princess. Consumed by jealousy and a desire for revenge, he devises a cunning plan. He travels back to China, this time disguised as a humble street merchant, walking through the city and crying out, "New lamps for old. New lamps for old. New lamps for old." Princess Bedrobador, unaware of the old lamp's true significance, hears the cry. Seeing the dusty, tarnished lamp in Aladdin's palace, she thinks it would be a clever and amusing trade to exchange it for a shiny new one. A servant makes the trade, and the sorcerer finally has the object of his obsession in his grasp. Immediately, he summons the genie of the lamp and commands it to transport the entire palace, along with the princess, to his home in the Maghreb, leaving behind an empty plot of land and a devastated sultan. When the Sultan discovers his daughter and her palace have vanished, his fury is immense. He blames Aladdin for witchcraft and orders his execution. Aladdin pleads for his life, begging for 40 days to find the princess. The Sultan agrees, and the desperate Aladdin sets out on his search. As he wanders, dejected, he once again twists the magic ring on his finger, summoning the lesser genie of the ring. Aladdin asks the genie to bring back the palace, but this genie explains that he does not have the power to undo a command made by the more powerful genie of the lamp. He can, however, transport Aladdin to the palace's new location. Instantly, Aladdin finds himself in the Maghreb, outside the walls of his own palace. He reunites with a heartbroken Princess Bedrobador, and together they hatch a plan to defeat the sorcerer. The princess feigns a change of heart, pretending to have forgotten Aladdin and inviting the sorcerer to dine with her. During the meal, she secretly slips a powerful sleeping powder into his wine. Once the sorcerer is unconscious, Aladdin emerges from hiding, takes the magician's own sword, and kills him. With the sorcerer dead, Aladdin retrieves the lamp, summons the genie, and orders the palace and everyone in it to be returned to China. Their triumphant return is celebrated with great joy, but their troubles are not yet over. The evil sorcerer had an older brother who was even more powerful and wicked in the dark arts. Upon learning of his brother's death, this second sorcerer vows revenge. He travels to China in disguise, this time as a wise and holy woman named Fatima, known for her healing abilities. He kills the real Fatima and takes her place, using the disguise to gain access to the palace. The holy woman is welcomed by Princess Badrol Badour, who is completely fooled by the disguise. The false Fatima suggests that the palace's main hall would be perfect if only it had a ROC's egg hanging from the center of its dome. The ROC is a mythical bird of immense size and power, and obtaining its egg is a task fraught with peril. The princess, eager to please the holy woman, relays this request to Aladdin. When Aladdin summons the genie and makes the wish, the usually compliant genie of the lamp becomes enraged. He reveals that the ROC is his master, and that this request is a grave insult, one that could have only been suggested by his greatest enemy, the sorcerer's brother. Warned of the deception, Aladdin realizes the holy woman is an impostor. He pretends to have a headache and asks the holy woman to come and heal him. When the disguised sorcerer approaches, Aladdin overpowers and kills him, ending the threat to his family for good. From that day on, Aladdin, the princess and his mother live in peace and prosperity, and upon the Sultan's death, Aladdin ascends to the throne, ruling with wisdom and justice for many years. The story of Aladdin has endured for over 300 years, not just because of its magical elements, but because of its powerful, universal themes. It is a classic rags to riches story, a tale of a flawed protagonist who, through a stroke of fortune, is given the chance to rise above his station and achieve greatness. It explores the corrupting nature of power seen in the two sorcerers and the idea that true worth is not determined by one's birth, but by one's actions and character. While modern retellings have softened its edges, transforming Aladdin into a more inherently noble character, and the genies into friendly companions, the core of Hanna Diyab's original tale remains a potent and complex narrative. It's a story about luck, cunning, and the battle between good and evil, reminding us that even from the most unpromising beginnings, extraordinary destinies can be forged. Ultimately, the global phenomenon of Aladdin is built upon a fascinating multicultural foundation. It is a Syrian story, captured by a French scholar, set in a fictionalized China, and popularized in the West as an Arabian legend. We have more stories from the annals of folklore and history to tell, so make sure you are subscribed to our channel and have pressed the bell button.